What's up, party people? Welcome to Wreck the World. My name is Eddie, and I'm going to show you the second half of the Riviera airbag installation. So I install my air tank, my compressors, and my valves, so let's take a look. So on the previous episode, I showed you how to install the airbags and brackets and get the car on the ground. Damn! She is laying on the ground. I do want to note that I didn't run front shocks with this particular style of bag on the front. However, in the near future, I am going to replace those front bags with a different style and install front shocks, but that's for another time. So anyways, let's get to the valves. Anyways, this is how I kind of put my valves together. This is how I prefer. There's several different ways to do it. I'm going to be running 3/8 valves. So this is basically your fill and your dump valve. As soon as you push the up button, this valve opens and allows air to pass through it, through here, down into the airbag. This is where my airline is going to be plumbed into, right in there, and that goes to the airbag, right? So when you push down, the air is allowed to go from the bag and straight up through here is just an open hole right there on the top, and it all comes out of there. So I like running air pressure gauges just so I know how much air is in my airbags, and that's what this guy's for. I'm going to actually be running a digital gauge, so it uses like an air sensor, so that's kind of fun. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to take all this apart, tape it up, and I'm going to put these on the air tank times 4. So I'm going to be running a total of 8 valves. That was fun. Now I have to do that 3 more times. Whew, that took forever, but all the rest of my valves are on. And what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of bench testing the air tank and valve system for air leaks. And what I did is just kind of rigged up a little fill valve there, so I could put a bunch of air in the tank and then use my trusty soapy water blend and kind of beep, 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 beep. Check all the fittings for air leaks and look for bubbles, and I can't find any, so we're good to move on. I'm making something special. Ooh, I'll show you what it is in just a sec. I gotta drill some holes. Here's the area in the trunk where I want to mount my tank, and here's my mount that I made. Basically, it's just gonna bolt right to the hinge supports right here. There's already some factory holes in there, and so I just used those holes and made a drop down. And the tank mount goes over, tank just bolts to here. Reason why I did that is I wanted to have the tank and the valves mounted up in that area, but it was a little too long, so the tank wasn't going to be able to mount to the floor. So with the help of this handy dandy mount that I made, it'll bolt right where I want it. So I'm going to finish welding it up and paint it. All my air lines are ran to the trunk here, and I have both compressors mounted. You can see one on either side there. And then I also have my 80 amp relay there, as well as a couple fuses for the compressors. So I'm ready to mount my tank bracket and air tank and valves. Everything's mounted up now. I got my tank bracket bolted back in. The compressors and valves and everything are hiding in back there. And you know, you look in the trunk compartment and it looks pretty clean. All you see is the air tank, and I still got plenty of room here for some bodies. In order to get to everything back there, I just had to remove the back seat, and you can get to it from inside the car. It's actually not that hard to do. So we'll go take a look at that now. Here's the view from inside the car. You can see I got my relay and everything, the valves, compressor. These holes are just big enough to reach my hands through and get to everything that I need to get to. So pretty dang handy right there. I'm making a gauge and switch mount using my existing ashtray. Whoops, I broke it. It's all right, I don't smoke anyways. So I'm just using this for my mounting flange, that way it can slip right into the stock location. But I need a piece of sheet metal, just a little bit, so I cut this out. And some of you might recognize this. This is the 6 inches I chopped out of my 31 coupe. Great for scrap metal. Anywho, so I'm gonna go ahead and mount this guy in here, and that's where I'm gonna mount my switches and my gauge. Here's the end result. Nothing very fancy, but good enough for a gauge and 2 switches. So that'll slide right into the stock ashtray location, and I got a fancy little flip door to cover it up when I'm parked, so you'll never even see it. Look at that. Pew, 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 pew. I still have to wire up my gauge, but that's how everything's gonna sit. Not too bad. One of the last pieces to this puzzle is this fully adjustable panhard bar that I got. I actually had a good old buddy, old pal of mine, make it for me. His name's Rupert. He's out in California. You can see it's all TIG welded. Left hand, right hand threads. So all you gotta do is bolt it in and turn it to adjust it. It's pretty slick. Anyways, look up Rupert, man. He's got one of the coolest Rivieras I've ever seen in my life. And you can check him out on Instagram at Buzzard Customs. Give him a look. Thanks again, Rupert. Appreciate it. I'm gonna paint this and get it bolted on. Hell yeah, this thing's awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna hop in this bad boy and I'm gonna go cruising. It's a beautiful night for it. We'll see you guys next time.